I can see people joining us, which is good.
Yeah, be a bit of embarrassing if just the two of us, wouldn't it, really?
Hello.
Hi, everybody.
Lots of people joining us. Hi there. Just wait for people to join us and then we'll get cracking. For those who don't know, I'm Owen Birkby of Handmade Hour. So I've probably interacted with lots of you on social media. But this is me, and we've got Paul Herschell with us today. So what we're going to do is we're going to wait till about 11 o'clock, just to see if anybody else wants to join us, and then I'll hand over to Paul, and he'll talk you through the session, what we're going to do. But thank you so much. It's great to see so many people. Thanks for taking time out of your day to come and spend it with us today. Okay, so this is new for us. Thank you very much for joining us. As I say, my name's Owen Birkby and I'm from Handmade Hour. It's great to see so many people. So what we've done is we've put this session on with Paul, who's going to be talking to us about how to create a good Instagram profile and why it's so important. So what we'd like to try and do is start putting on these webinars to give you a few more skills and that, so that you can, run your business how you want to do it. You're free to take notes, anything like that, and we are video in this session, so we'll upload that to our YouTube channel afterwards, so you can grab anything else that you missed after the session. Right, Paul, if that's it, I'm going to hand the reins over to you now, okay?
All right, brilliant. Okay, thanks for that, Owen. Sorry, you got one northern accent to another northern accent. We did talk about getting a translator, but hopefully you can understand both of us. Okay, well, I have a very quick presentation, so rather than me waffle on here, I've got something that I've already put together. If you just bear with me, I'll just put that up, and then you can hear a little bit about who I am and where I'm coming from before we launch into the webinar. So just bear with me a second. I'll just share your screen with me and let you have a look at this. Okay, I hope everybody can hear this.
My name is Paul Herschell, and I run Simple Art Marketing to help artists, makers and photographers develop their online presence. I've worked in IT for many organisations, both big and small, since the early 1990s, while running my own small business. In 2014, I met my partner, Lucy Gell. Lucy had been developing her printmaking craft from the kitchen table and back room for a number of years, since taking the decision to put her previous career on hold to stay home with young children. Instantly, I recognised the talent in Lucy, and I just loved her work, but like so many, she was struggling with trying to do everything herself. I started attending shows with Lucy. Some shows were successful, others actually cost her money. I'm sure many can relate to that. I realised she needed a better place to work, so we built a studio in the garden together. As Lucy began to produce more work, I recognised many opportunities that were not being taken. There were gaps in the product range that could be filled. Better data needed recording to make better decisions. And Lucy's online presence needed a complete makeover. So I set to creating a new website for Lucy that would work much better for her. I restarted her Etsy shop. I helped her to improve her social media presence. I set up a mailing list and developed an email marketing strategy with her. I did all of this in my spare time while running my own business, but over a period of time, other artists and makers asked for similar help, and I pivoted to what I do now, which is to help artists, makers and photographers develop their businesses online. I have been developing a wealth of free information on my Instagram account and website blog that you are welcome to use and take away for free, covering topics such as website design, mailing lists, social media, SEO, Etsy, art room mock-ups, and much more. I touch on everything briefly in my Instagram and Facebook accounts, and then dive into much more detail with working examples in my website blogs that are added with each post. For those who want to take things to the next level, I also have a number of paid services, including website design, mailing list setup and email marketing campaigns, website SEO and social media audits. Or simply contact me for some one-on-one consultancy mentoring, which can be charged by the day, half day, or by the hour. I can provide you with the advice and training needed to identify what you need to improve and show you how to do it to make your online business work better.
Okay, I hope you found that useful. The point I'm trying to get across in that, I suppose, is really that I'm not just some external person that is dealing with any kind of business. I am thoroughly engrossed, as Owen is, with a partner in this industry. So everything is very close to my heart, and you know, we're both very involved in what our partners are doing. So let's start off. I want to open this then with a question. So can I pose to you, as we said, we'll do a few questions in the chat box, and right at the end of the presentation, we'll open up and do a proper Q&A with video and audio. But just in the chat box now, can I ask very quickly, why do we use social media? So I'm going to leave the floor to you for a minute. Can everybody pop up in the chat box? What do you think is the main reason for using social media? Yeah, so Michelle, to connect with customers, great. To reach a wider audience. Showing how my products can be used, brilliant. To find customers, to engage with followers, brand awareness, reaching customers, to reach a wider audience. Oh, we're all on the ball here. It's where your clients are. Increase awareness. Engage with people across the world with one click. Ooh, I don't know if one click's a bit of an exaggeration, but yeah, I see where you're coming from with that one. Yes, it really does help us to get a lot further afield, doesn't it? Engage with customers behind the scenes, tell the company story, brand awareness, to show how I make things. Yeah. Share your story behind the scenes. That's really, really important. I think once you start giving customers confidence, when they see the person behind, you know, people say, you're not just buying a piece of art or a piece of craft. You're buying the story behind it. You're buying a little bit of that person. That's so important. Yeah, so some great answers there. Shall we wrap that one up? Well, I've summarised 4 different reasons that I think people are using social media. I think you've gone into a lot more detail. So these are just 4 very broad reasons. So my four main reasons are leisure, research, networking, and to promote ourselves and our work. And of course, the 5th one, some people like to build their own ego, but I don't think we'll go too far into that one. I don't tend to use social media for leisure too much. I find that sitting in front of the screen for a large part of the day doing what I do, it's not the best way for me to relax in an evening, but I know a lot of people use it for leisure. I do use it an awful lot to research things, and particularly the kind of things that I write about in my blog, and hopefully things I'll be doing in future webinars like this. It's great for networking. Meeting up here with Owen, that's proof how good, you know, it is at bringing people together that are doing some similar things and can work together to promote both their businesses. Okay, so here's another question for you. What are the primary objectives if you want to use social media to promote yourselves and your work? In other words, what do you want to happen as a result of your efforts on social media? I think you've probably highlighted a few of these in your previous responses, but yes, there we go. Sales, followers, yeah. Turn likes and clicks into sales, raise awareness. So they're all different stages along this route of getting your first interest in Instagram right the way through to that final sale. Engage, comments, website clicks, convert to sales. Everybody wants to build your followers, but you've got to think, why do you want to build the followers? What's the reason to do that? Where do you want to take that? increase sales and learn which products are most popular. Brilliant piece of research, you know, finding out which are your best products, which products you get most interest in. You want customers to trust your brand. Yeah, brilliant comment. Followers, give other people faith in your brand. To see people who are interested in what you're selling. Yeah, there's some great answers there, linked with other similar businesses. Okay, let's move on from there then. So some great answers. My thoughts on this, again, I've got 4 primary objectives here. I think a lot of you have covered these. So the first is to make new connections. To then move that on to the next stage is to build relationships with those connections and to develop trust. Nobody's going to buy from you at the end of the day unless they actually trust you. They're going to hand over the money to you. You need to develop trust. Trust is easy when you meet people in a local shop and you're coming off the high street, but once it's online, it's a much more difficult process to gain somebody's trust. And as you develop that trust, then you convert those connections into customers. Okay, so this is the part where we start to home in on what this session is really about. So what we're really focusing on in this session is around making new connections, and specifically the part that a good Instagram profile has in making that process happen. Okay, so taking it a step further, every post that we put onto Instagram, we should have a purpose. That purpose can vary from post to post, but every time we write a post, if we have a very clear purpose as to what we want to achieve through that post, whether it's to make a sale, whether it's to get a new follower, whether it's to develop confidence, if we're very aware of the purpose of the post before we write the post, we'll find it a lot easier to write the post. So just taking it a step further, I said that every time we do a post on Instagram, we should have a specific purpose, a goal for that post, one goal. Some people try and fit 2 or 3 different goals into a post. I would argue that each post should just have one single goal. And once you know clearly what that goal is, it's a lot easier to write your post. So a typical goal, for example, might be to attract new followers. It might be to attract interest. It might be to get some feedback. It might be to make a sale. So I just wanted to open the floor one last time to ask people, what kind of goals do you have from your posts at the moment? So we've got one there from Babita, to reach a target audience. Sign up to a mailing list. That's really important. Your mailing list should be right at the center of everything that you do. This session is about Instagram. Instagram's brilliant. It's, you know, we can use that as a free tool to create a massive audience, but at the end of the day, there is an algorithm. People don't see everything. Your mailing list is really important because you own it and everybody will receive those emails. Tend to do a connected post in the morning and product awareness in the evening. Yes, really good to have a strategy and to have different goals. You know, you see some Instagram accounts and it's sell, 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 and people just lose interest. But if you vary it and make it interesting for people with different goals, that really helps to gain followers and drive people to your Etsy shop. Brilliant. To build brand awareness and stand out. Every post that you do, you don't have to expect sales. It doesn't need to be at sales. It's really important to develop brand awareness, confidence, show people behind the scenes. It's all part of the sales process. It's not all about selling on here. To interact, to build connections, and ultimately relationships. That's what the whole thing is about. We're on social media here. This is what it is. It's social media. It's not a selling platform. People do sell on social media, but that's not what it's designed for. If we can use the platform, we can bring them onto our mailing list, we can bring them to a website, and then use other tools which much more geared up to selling things much more effectively. But if we see Instagram for what it is, and use it in the correct way, it'll work much better for us. Try and ask questions to build engagement and show processes behind my work. Drive web visits. Brilliant. The Instagram algorithm loves engagement. The more you can get people to interact with you, even simply asking a question at the bottom of every post, if you can get people to interact, the algorithm will show your post to more people, and that will develop more likes, more followers, more relationships. Okay, that's brilliant. Okay, thanks for your feedback on that. From my perspective, so I want to effectively show you how to use social media, and particularly Instagram, to develop these relationships. I want to show you how to start a relationship, and I want to show you how to then take people to the next level. So the first thing that you're trying to do is when somebody clicks your post, if they like your post, the next thing that they are likely to do is to go to visit your profile. When they visit your profile, that's where they make some calculated decisions based on what they see at the profile, which is why it's so important that you get a really nice looking profile. What we're hoping people to do is go to your profile, like what they see, and want to know more about you. If they like what they see, to know more about you, they're likely to then click the follow button. And then because they've followed you, they're going to see more of your posts. That relationship is going to begin. And then you can start the process of building confidence with them, bringing them onto your mailing list, bringing them to your website. Doesn't all happen immediately. It starts with that very simple process of wowing them with your Instagram profile. And then over a series of posts and time, you take them to the next part of the process, and then ultimately towards generating sales from those people. Okay, so how do we create a good profile so that people will visit you? So this is a point. I'm going to show you some screens now, and hopefully it will be obvious from those screens how to do that. Hopefully everybody can see this now. So this is my Instagram profile. So what do you see on an Instagram profile? There's a photograph, not the best photograph there, but hopefully as a small business you're getting to recognize people. So whether you use a photograph or whether you use a logo, personally I think for small businesses, if you're a big corporate, yes, use a logo, use something that you'll recognize. If you're a small business, people want to see your face, people want to recognize you. If you're shy about doing that, think carefully about something else that you can use right the way across your brand. Other things that we have, we've got a username, Simple Art Marketing. We've got a name, Paul Herschell Art Marketing. We've got a bio. We've got 150 characters to show what we do, and then we've got links through to the website. People will glance at this and very quickly think, is this person of more interest to me? Do I want to know more about them? And then they'll decide whether or not to follow them. So I'm going to go through each of the fields in here in detail with you now. So you can set this up using the Edit Profile button, and at the very top of the screen you can see Simple Art Marketing. So that's my username. Now think very carefully about what you use for your username. This should really be consistent with everything else that you use across the rest of your business. So a lot of you have probably got a website at this point. If you've got a website address, try and use the same address as your username. If your username is a personal name, be consistent across your brand and use a personal name. If it's a business name, be consistent and use that across there. But what you want to do is be in a position where you can attend a show, somebody sees your banner with your business name on, and then they can go onto Instagram and they can find you. So they need to be able to type in whatever they've seen at a show or on a business card or what they've seen on Facebook. They want to be able to see you consistently in Instagram. So with my with mine, I've recently rebranded this to Simple Art Marketing. Some of you might have recognised. Simple Art Marketing was available in Instagram. It was available in Pinterest. In Twitter, there is a restriction, so you can only have a 15-character one in Twitter. So I couldn't have Simple Art Marketing, so I need to do something very similar in Instagram. And in Facebook, I found that somebody had already used this, although they've not used the account since 2015. So I've simply put the word UK on the end of it. But what it means is there is some kind of consistency throughout my brand with Simple Art Marketing. So that's very important to do. It's also very useful if people want to search. So if somebody comes up to search for you and they type in Simple Art, even just by putting the word Simple Art, you can see that Simple Art Marketing has come up there. So it's very easy to find people. So think very carefully about that. Don't rush into anything, and ensure that you've got the consistency. So the next thing we have is the name. So this is your personal name. It could be a business name, or as I've done here, you could use both. Previously, my username used to be P. Herschell. Some of you might have seen me operating under that over the last few months. I never really liked using that because it's a difficult surname to spell. So it wasn't really achieving a lot for me. A lot of people didn't know me by name, but a lot of people were looking for help with art marketing. So with I think it's about 30 characters that you can put into here, I was able to put my personal name and art marketing, which is predominantly what I do, into the title. So again, that helps me with my searches to do that. Then we have a website. So you notice mine doesn't link straight through to my website. My website is instinctive.co.uk. Again, I don't have the consistency with Simple Art Marketing. I'm in the process of revising the website name. The website is something I've had since 1991 whilst I was using my business for something else. Ultimately, I may register simpleartmarketing.co.uk and link all this together, but I don't want to make a change to that too quickly. But in the meantime, I'm linking it to another company which is able to link my posts through to my website using link in bio. I'll talk a little bit later and show you that a little bit later. The next section is bio. So in the bio, we want to list what you do. So I work with artists, makers, and photographers. I do online marketing, I do advice, I help them with websites. You've got 150 characters. It's not a lot to get everything over. So you need to think very carefully about writing this bio. It helps if you use things to break it up. I've used a little art brush there to separate things. You could use bullet points. But what I would suggest to you is that you put as many of your unique selling points into there as possible. Keep it short, keep it interesting. What's unique about you? What keywords might you use to find you? Keep it nice and clear and short. And at the end of it, you notice that I've put a little call to action. Lots of free advice here. So when this displays, I'm actually asking people to do something. So you can see lots of advice here. I'm pointing down to my website link. If you want somebody to do something, it might be to join a mailing list. It might be to visit your Etsy shop. It might be to visit your website shop. Use a few words there, perhaps with arrows, emojis like that, to point to something, and that will just help to direct things to that. Several other things in here. These are behind the scenes for Instagram. These aren't particularly visible, but the main areas to set up are your bio, your website link, your username, and your personal name. Below this, you have another area for highlights. Some of you might be using highlights. A lot of people I come across are not really using highlights as effectively as they could be doing. Highlights are a way of displaying stories. So if anybody's created a story on Instagram, you'll notice that your stories only last for 24 hours, and people have quite a different people are a lot less formal with stories. They make them interesting, exciting. It gives you a lot of scope to post things in a different way, and because things disappear in 24 hours, they don't stay on your account, and you can keep a nice curated grid on your account regardless of what you do with your stories. But certain stories can be really useful. So if you do a story, for example, about how to join your mailing list and why it's important to join your mailing list, you could put that onto your highlights so it's there permanently for people to see. If you've got some really good testimonials from people, you could put that on there. Your product ranges, you could create a highlight showing each of the product ranges. What you'll find when people come to your profile, they will read the first bits on your profile and make some very quick judgments about you and whether they think it's worth following you, looking at any more of your posts from there. But you will also find that people will go to your highlights and they'll just click on your highlights and they'll start looking through them. Now, because the highlights are video based, they just play. It's very easy for people to sit and watch through them. So you can very quickly get across the style of your what you do, what your products are, just by letting people walk through those little messages there. So if you've not done anything with highlights yet, it's worth looking very seriously at that. I've got an awful lot of things that I want to put onto my highlights, but I've just really started with these first three in blue. The purple one there is an old one that I need to redo in the new blue style and make it a little bit more interesting. But that is something that you can build up over time, and it makes things really interesting. Okay, I mentioned a little bit about the link in bio. So a lot of you have maybe got a website and you've just linked your website to just link to your main website from your profile. But what about if you want to take people to a specific page? There are a couple of products. I use a product called Link in Bio, which allows me to create a different website page link for every post in my profile. Another product that does a similar thing that you might have seen people using is Linktree. And I think there are a few other products as well. This is a really important investment, I think. You know, you can use some products like this for a couple of pounds a month, and they're well worth looking at. For example, on here, I have a post, Simple Art Marketing, did you get my newsletter? I can link that post directly to my mailing list page. So if I come to Link in Bio, Simple Art Marketing, I'll see a similar grid as I see in Instagram, but I'm not in Instagram anymore. I'm now in Link in Bio. And by clicking on, did you get the newsletter that I just sent out? It will take people straight to my join my mailing list webpage. The post here about Tabitha Gel, I just reposted some of her art. That goes straight to her website to have a look at Tabitha Gel. So it's really useful. That the worst thing to do is put put a post up for a product, get people really interested, and then just send them to your website, and they spend hours looking through your website trying to find that product again. This product means that if somebody sees a product on an Instagram post and they want to go straight to that product, you can link it straight to that product page in your shop. So I'd strongly recommend that that you look at doing something like this. Okay, so let's look at just look at a couple of other examples. So this is my partner, Lucy Gel. So Lucy has used Lucy Gel as her username. For some people, that's great. Lucy's name is quite unusual. There's not many people called Gel, so she found that Lucy Gel was available as a domain. It was available as Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest. Not a problem. If you're called John Smith, that might be more difficult. But if you've got a unique name, you can use it. But then say what you do. So Lucy Gel, she's a printmaker. She's got 30 characters here to play with. People will look for printmakers. People will look for illustrators, artists, potters. So specify in there what you do and increase your chances of being found. Just don't just wait for people to find your posts. People will go looking for you in search in Instagram. So that's really important. So Lucy spells out what she does. She's an illustrator, she's a printmaker, an animator, and then what kind of cards and services she does. What kind of products and services. So she does cards, workshops, animal, bird, printmaking. And she gets across one of her unique selling points. It's really important to promote your selling points. What's special about you? What stands out from other people? So with Lucy, it's a graphic character that she uses and the humor that she uses in her artwork. That's really special to her and really makes her work stand out. So put that across in your bio. And then if you've got a shop, if your products are available, is it an Etsy shop? Is it UK based? Is it worldwide? You might mention that in there. And then Lucy does a similar thing here with her link in bio. So for example, if we were looking at a product, say you were interested in buying, she's got a picture of one of our dogs that she's done there, the Podenco. If somebody wanted to buy that, they could go into the web link here. They'll see all the posts that she's put up recently. And how embarrassing, she's not linked it through. Not to worry. I'll have a word with her about that after. If the one you wanted to buy was this one, so one of the handmade cards, you could click on this and then this will go off to a website and it's gone straight to the page where you can buy that particular product. So very useful to do that. Okay, let's look at another example. So here, this is Tabitha Gel. Tabitha is Lucy's daughter, another budding artist. Notice up here, Tabitha's put 30 posts up and she's already got nearly 3 times as many followers as I have. Tabitha's running on rocket fuel. She's 16-year-old. She's got fantastic artwork. And she's got a nice bio up here. So she's saying what she does. She's 16 years old, so she's appealing to a different kind of market than some of us more mature types. She uses emojis. She talks more to the younger people. She networks with the people, so she's obviously got a collaboration going with somebody to help her grow her account. She's using the call to action that I mentioned when she wants to draw something to somebody's attention, and she's created her own hashtag so that she can post in there and get other people to post in there. And she's used the highlights along the bottom that we were talking about earlier. So lovely account. If you've not come across Tabitha, I'd definitely have a look. There's a lot I'll be learning from her shortly, I think. Okay, and then I think one more that we could look at. Okay, so Owen, so I hope I'm not putting you two on the spot here, Owen.
It's all classwork. I'm not involved at all, so.
So Owen's got a good consistency. Owen's handmade hour in various platforms. I don't think you're using the underscore everywhere, are you, Owen?
No, unfortunately, I'd love to have it without the underscore, but I was too late on Instagram.
That's the thing. If you get in early to Instagram, you can grab everything. But if you're coming in late, a lot of the good ones have been taken, and you have to be a little bit more creative. The important thing is that you create consistency, and it's not too late to change things now. I changed this week. It didn't mean I'll lose any followers. Everybody comes with you during the move, but I got a lot of important. Useful comments came back supporting the change. So if you create that consistency, it's really important. Say what you do. You're a community, and if there's something that's really important and you want it to stand out, say it first, as Owen's done, and say it in uppercase. Make it striking. And then mention the areas that you're involved in. Now, Instagram will highlight hashtags because they're clickable. It will highlight your website because it's clickable here, although it doesn't do in posts. It's quite happy to highlight things if you stay on the platform. Instagram is here to make money. Instagram doesn't want you going off and going elsewhere. It's important to understand it wants to keep you on the platform. So that's why it makes handmade, craft, and independent bold here, because it's happy that you're moving within the platform. It makes those stand out for Owen. But what I would say with those, it can be a double-edged sword. It may mean that if you highlight another account, you could lose traffic to that other account, to that hashtag, and people may disappear off down a rabbit hole, and it may actually work against you. So you do need to be careful when you use hashtags on there that you don't just send people elsewhere rather than keeping them on your own profile and within your own posts. I think Owen's World Handmade Day is really a good example of using hashtags, because Owen is keeping everybody within a platform that he's created, within things that are tied to his account. So that's quite important. And then Owen's using a similar version to my link in bio. Owen's using Linktree. So that will show all the recent posts. I don't think you see a post by post like you do on mine. Is that an option, Owen, on Linktree?
No, I just use the free version, so I'm happy. I'm chopping and changing all the time. So what I like about Linktree is it allows me to reorder those. So as I put a post on Instagram, I can put the link to the top of my Linktree, so it's easy for people to find.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah, so just to summarize there, really. So those are just a few short examples. The key thing is to get people interested when they come to your profile, and to get them wanting more from you, whether that's encouraging them to follow you, or it's to visit your website, or a hashtag. List what you're doing there, but you can list what you're doing there, but you will find accounts that don't list what they do. You'll see accounts that raise more questions than answers. That can get people's interest as well. People can read something in your bio and think, what's that person on about? I need to find out a little bit more. You could put something quite intriguing up there. I can't think of any examples off the top of my head, but I certainly have come across accounts like that where you come to the profile and you haven't a clue, but it just leaves you wanting to know more about that account, which is quite clever marketing. So that's it, really. I hope everybody's learnt a little bit from that. And I think at this point we can open the floor to everybody and see if anybody's got any questions.
Yeah, so if you want to either put them in the chat box, ask them there, we'll have a rundown, or if you want to come on and show your face, then we'll have a look at that. Not a problem. No, because it's new technology and we're just trying to work out how to do it properly. So you'll just have to bear with us.
I'm just reading in the comments there. So I think it's Babita. She says she's using another Smart Bio from Tailwind. I've not come across Smart Bio. I have come across Tailwind. I think they're quite a good reputable company. But that's another one to look out for the link in your bio.
There's a couple of questions in. So how do you make the highlight logos?
I always create the highlights from my mobile. I mean, it is a session. It is something we could do a whole session on. Maybe that's something we could do in the future, Owen.
Yeah. There's been a couple of
basically, if everybody's familiar with creating a story, if you create a story, it will create an archive of those stories. So even though they disappear off your feed after 24 hours, they will still appear in your story archive. So when you're creating a highlight, you can go to the highlight button on your mobile, or you can view a story and you can say add to highlight on your mobile. But then each highlight, you can then go in to edit it, and then you can add additional stories. So you can stitch together. I don't know if there's a limit of perhaps a minute, or I'm not sure how it limits it. I have seen people with 15, 20 little stories all attached together onto a similar highlight. But it's all done on your mobile phone, which I can't. We can set that up for another session so that I can connect a mobile phone and take everybody through that.
I'm not sure in terms of minutes how many minutes you can have on a highlight, but you can have 100 images in a highlight as you can on your stories.
Yeah. Okay. Got another question there from Charlotte. How important do you think a cohesive grid is? Sometimes I don't want to post something because it won't match my grid, even if I think people will like it. It's a good question. Some people find it particularly important. I mean, if I show you mine, for example, and this does evolve an awful lot over time. I've created a kind of pattern, as you can see on mine. That's quite important to me, that I share one of my posts where I give away information about how to market your products, how to optimize websites, how to basically all the kind of behind the scenes tips and tricks. But then I promote somebody else's product, and then I'll do some of my own stuff, and then I'll promote somebody else's product. That works really well for me, because if my whole grid was writing, as it was at the very beginning, I don't know if I scroll down right to when I first started, I'll probably take quite a while. All I did was text box, and it was very difficult to get traction, because people on Instagram, they're interested in the aesthetics. They're interested in a really pleasant looking grid. They're looking for patterns. They're looking for colors. You can have the most brilliant content, but if it doesn't look nice, it's very difficult to attract people on Instagram. There are other platforms to do that, but Instagram is very much a visual platform. So it is really important to get a nice looking grid. And I think I'm getting somewhere near that with this kind of pattern. And it does help me, because I can use certain hashtags on my own posts here, and I can use very different hashtags when I promote somebody else's work. Those people come on the basis of looking at the other person's work, but then they find out about what I'm doing. They visit my profile. as we've just been talking about, and then I end up growing my account that way as well. So that is quite important. But I think at the end of the day, it's all down to personal taste. Some people that is very important to them, and other people go about things in quite a different way. Find something that works for you, and just improve that over time. What you will find is if you look at your Instagram highlights, you'll be able to find out which posts are getting the most interest. So if you keep looking at that every few months and see which posts are doing better, which are doing worse, gradually start posting in the style of those posts that are doing better, and you will ultimately find a style, I think. So I hope that answers that question. What do you use to create your post? I'm actually using Photoshop. I don't use Canva. The first time I came across Canva was in the presentation on Handmade Hour recently. So I do intend to look a little bit at Canva. I use Photoshop because of my partner Lucy. Lucy's been doing graphic design for many years, and it's a product that she's been using for many years. So she taught me how to use Photoshop. I wouldn't advise Photoshop for anybody new. It is quite a big, complicated product, and I think there are a lot of other products that are simpler these days. But if you Google, free equivalent to Photoshop, there are lots of free apps that you could use. Snapseed is a really good app. There's probably several others that you might want to have a look at. I should do a post on that at some point. I think a lot of people do have those kind of questions about creating that. What other questions have we got here?
There's one here from Heather, which is, do you have any advice on hashtags?
Hashtags, yes. I think I've got quite a lot of advice about hashtags. I think the important thing is to vary your hashtags. Don't use the same hashtags all the time. You will find that once you've attracted a lot of followers from those hashtags, if they're smaller hashtags, it will dry up. So you want to vary your hashtags. If you're using hashtags that are too big, nobody will see you. So you need to use a hashtag which is proportional to the size of your following. So for example, if you look at Owen's at the moment, where he's got 17,000 people following him, he can aim at much higher hashtags than somebody that's maybe got 300 or 400 people following them. The reason for that is that when you put a post up, you will get a number of likes within the first 2 hours. Depending on the number of likes, the position that you end up in that hashtag's best posts will be determined on how many likes you got in the first 2 hours. So if you get 300 likes in the first 2 hours, you may stay on a big hashtag for several days. So if you're staying on the hashtag in the hashtag's top posts, a lot more people are going to see you over those next few days. If you've got an account with 500 people on, say, you might just get 30 likes and you're very quickly going to disappear off that hashtag. I would probably aim at, it varies. If you have 500 followers, I would probably aim at hashtags that have got 1K to 50K following. I'd certainly avoid anything that's in the millions, anything that's in the hundreds of thousands. As you get bigger and you pass 1K, 5K, 10K, then start to aim a little bit higher, and you'll find that you're getting more traction in those bigger hashtags. It is quite a complicated area. It's probably something we could do a whole new session like this on.
And sorry, it is putting you on the spot with hashtags because
That's all right.
I think a lot of it is trial and error. To be honest with you, with hashtags.
It is trial and error, but like a lot of things, you can watch other people as well. You can watch people that are doing a similar thing to you. You can watch hashtags they're doing. You can track their growth. You can look at somebody, record how many followers they've got this month, record it again next month, record it the next month. If they're showing really good growth, you can analyze what they're doing and try to repeat some of what they're doing. So, it is a difficult one.
There's a few people asked about highlights. So what I think we'll do when we send this out is we'll chat more. We'll put an email together or something like that, just to try and show you where you can find the highlights, how you can add a highlight, and those sort of things. Just a few little tips for that, and hopefully that'll be helpful. There's a question here from Claire Birkby. Don't know who that is, but it's my wife. It's okay, I can say that. I'd love to work out how I can increase my following. I think this is what a lot of people will be asking, wanting to know, but it's not easy, is it?
It's not easy at all. And I think the biggest mistake is to think you can only increase your following through posting. Because posting, depending on what you're posting, it can be hard work. It's certainly hard work for what I post, because every post I put up with information, I probably spend 2, 3, 4 hours researching to put a post up. And if I just put that post up, I might get 2 or 3 followers. And I think, was that really worth all of that time? Certainly financially, it doesn't work for me to do things that way. So I think your posting is just one element. Your posting is about creating a nice feed, creating information that people want to see. You're creating things that people will come to your profile, they'll look down your feed, they might find something weeks, months from now. That's not the only thing that you should be doing. I think the the answer is in the name. It's social media. It is social. You need to be networking in Instagram. You need to be talking to people. So you need to look at bigger accounts. Obviously, I got talking to Owen. I got talking to Just a Card. There are several other people that are on my radar that I want to talk to, because I know that when they see my content, it will be interesting. It's relevant to what they do. For yourselves, you want to be looking at people that are in your industry. People that run shows, people that have workshop venues. You probably heard the phrase influencers. So they're people that they may have a big following, they might not have a big following, but they might have a very engaged following. But they have some kind of crossover to what you're doing. So look out for those people. Going as we did with the search there, type in, if you're a printmaker, look for other printmakers, look for other printmakers in the UK, look for other printmakers in your county, potters, look for galleries, and just network with these people. Have a look at their feeds, follow them. If you see them posting about something, comment on it. So yes, comment on posts for these people. Just contribute, and people will start to recognise once you've commented 2 or 3 times on their posts. They'll see that you've come back, and they'll go to your profile. They'll see who you are, and then before you know it, they'll be looking at your products, your posts, and they'll be asking you, is it okay if I repost what you've done? Would you come and do a workshop for us? Would you come and do this? Would you like to do a collaboration on something? Lots of ways through social networking like that. Something that we find really useful are giveaways. I don't know, have you ever run a giveaway, Owen?
Yeah, we collab with a lot of small businesses. If anybody wants to do it, just drop us a message on Instagram, and what we normally do is we ask you obviously to offer the prize, and we'll pop it on our grid, and then it's normally like I don't know, sort of a mention other businesses and that, and it's trying to get you out there, getting a bit more engagement, getting a few more followers and that. So it's certainly something we do quite a lot of.
Yeah, I see a lot of accounts growing tremendously through it. Some accounts, it's a part of their marketing strategy where they'll run a giveaway perhaps every 3 months. Some accounts even do it every month. You'll find on some of my material on my website, I've got some posts with full instructions of how to run a giveaway. So it takes you through all the process of getting ready to run it, creating some anticipation, the actual giveaway post itself, what kind of prizes you should offer, right through running the giveaway, keeping the giveaway running over several days, and then at the end of the giveaway, how to close it, how to do your draw, how to then communicate with the winner to get some publicity material afterwards that you can use. The whole thing can potentially, I think we've typically seen between 10 and 15% increases in followers for each giveaway. One of my customers just recently ran one, and they increased their followers by 25%. Now that increase happens time on time, regardless of how many followers you have for the same amount of effort. So if you start running your first giveaway at say 1,000 followers, you might get 10%. So you'll get another 100 followers. If you run the same giveaway with the same effort in exactly the same way at 10,000 followers, you'll get another 1,000 followers. It's very, very consistent. As long as you do everything through the same steps, it's really effective. For anybody that's not run a giveaway, but basically it works by the rules to enter the giveaway. You can win a prize. So Lucy would typically offer one of her printmaking pieces. So she might sell that on a website for £85. It probably only costs her £10 to print it here. So for £10, she runs this giveaway. And in order to enter, the rules are that somebody has to like her giveaway post, follow her, and mention her to at least 2 other people. Another thing that people often say is, well, you can have a bonus entry into the draw if you mention me in your stories as well. That's a really effective way to spread the word if you add the stories as well. So it's very, very simple to do, and if you repeat it month on month or quarter on quarter, it's phenomenal the amount of growth that you can do. So yeah, hope that answers that one.
I'm just mindful that time's getting on a little bit now.
Yep.
We're slightly off the hour, but there's a couple of questions here that I'd like to just pick up on really and find out what your thoughts are. So Charlotte Barnes has asked, what are your thoughts on sponsored posts worth the investment? I think that's in terms of promoting a post or financially, I guess. Is it, Charlotte? Yeah.
Okay. It's an area that I'm really just starting to get into. I'd say if you come back to me in 3 or 4 months' time, I'll probably have some fantastic answers for you on here. At the moment, I would say do it very, very cautiously. One thing I would advise against is the very simple boost button. To boost the post, it's very much a splattergun. What you want to do, if you're going to spend any money at all on social media, it needs to be very finely targeted. Your money will go a lot further if it's very finely targeted. The boost button doesn't do that kind of targeting, whereas if you go for a paid ad, then you can very specifically say, I want to reach this particular group in this particular country of this particular sex, and they have this particular interest. So yes, that's worth doing. You also want to only put money into things that are working well on their own. If you've got a post and you're getting very little traction on it, very little interest, you can throw loads of money at that, but you're wasting your money. If you put that post, if you pay to put that post in front of other people, and people weren't really interested in the first place, people are not going to be interested to engage with that post just because you've thrown money at it. So you need to stay on top of your insights, look at which posts are doing really well organically, target those posts, and think about putting some money into those posts to just make them go that little bit further. If you think about how Instagram puts things out to your own following, typically at the moment you probably expect maybe 10% of the people following you to see each post. That's intentional by Instagram. They want you to advertise for your whole audience to see your post. That's why I mentioned mailing lists earlier. With mailing lists, you own the list, you can send to everybody. With Instagram, it's up to Instagram who sees your posts. So push people towards your mailing list, but within Instagram, if something's doing really well to start with, then adding a little bit more money to it, Instagram will show it to a few more of your followers. It will show it to more people like your followers, but the post has got to be interesting to start with. There are lots and lots of things you can do to make posts interesting. Video posts work much better than still posts. Obviously, the aesthetics of the posts, having some kind of captions on posts. You look at the posts that you think are interesting yourself. Which things grab your attention. One post that springs to mind with a brilliant piece of marketing that I saw. A man just stood there with a billboard, and he literally stood up and he had a billboard and it said "stop," and then he put it down, and then "read this," and then he put it down, and it said something else, and you just had no idea what he was trying to sell, what he was about, but it just grabbed your attention. That video on the screen, the movement, the curiosity. There are so many things that you can use to capture people's attention, but the key is to make it work organically first. Learn how to do it organically. Don't jump in and just advertise. Your money won't go nearly as far as it could do unless you put that into posts that are already doing well organically.
Sorry, there's one. You have kind of touched on it, but Beth's asked, I only get on average 20 likes. Are there some simple steps you can take to increase the engagement? A few people have said, yeah, what Beth said, same as Beth. So obviously, this is something that we need to help with. But I think you have kind of touched on it. For me, from my personal experience, I do exactly what you've said. So you put a post out, you see how it performs. If it performs well, you'll kind of sort of regurgitate it, in a way, to still grasp attention. But then if it doesn't work, then you just put it to one side, or maybe you just mix the hashtags up next time or something like that. But I'd be interested to know, have you got more specific sort of information, help, advice that you can give to people who see that they're not getting perhaps the traction that they would like with a post?
There's a few things really. Timing is quite an important one. If you look at your Instagram insights, you'll be able to see when your audience when most of your audience are online. So if I look at my own stats, for example, I've seen that my peak times, my optimum times for posting, are probably between 5 and 7 in the evening. That can vary. Before lockdown, Friday evening, everybody's out in the town, and understandably, it was 2, 3 o'clock on a Friday afternoon, not 5 to 7 o'clock. And then at the weekend, it's probably 2 to 3 in the afternoon on a Saturday and a Sunday, whereas you don't get that kind of engagement during the week. It also depends on where your customers are. So I've got a few customers coming in from overseas now. I've got a few coming from America and different time zones. So that can change the time when most of your customers are online. But the purpose of posting it at the right time is to get the maximum engagement within the first 2 hours. Because to Instagram, the first 2 hours are really important to it to work out how important your post is and whether or not it should show that post to more people. So the results in the first 2 hours very much determine what happens over the next 24 hours. Anything else? I think the other thing to mention as well is that don't always give up on a post. I mean, you mentioned about using different hashtags. It's quite important to balance your hashtags. So every group of hashtags should have the majority of the hashtags around the kind of volumes that you think fits your market. But then always throw in the odd curveball, throw in the odd million post hashtag, throw in the odd small hashtag. With the small hashtags, you'll stay there for months on end. Lucy's an artist in the High Peak area here in Derbyshire. We've got some very localized hashtags, and they've probably only got 1,000 posts in them. But because of Lucy's popularity, if she drops the odd hashtag in there, that will stay on the top row of that hashtag for months on end. So people are liking that post, and like most things on Instagram, it's probably got a lifetime of 24 to 48 hours. Some of the smaller hashtags will last for months on end. People will just keep coming back and back to them over a period of time if you can stay on the top row of that hashtag. So yes, think carefully about your hashtags. I put all mine into a spreadsheet. I put the numbers of posts that are in the hashtag into the spreadsheet so that I can then group them. I'll then put days of the week, and so I'll have hashtags for Monday, hashtags for Tuesday, hashtags for Wednesday. I'll then also have a group of hashtags based on subject matter. So some of the subjects might be search engine optimization, website design, social media. So as I come to do each post, I'll grab one set of hashtags from there, one to there, until I've got 30 hashtags. Always use all 30 hashtags. Some people will say, oh no, it looks spammy if you use 30. I'm a firm believer that until you are a celebrity with thousands, millions of people following you, you have to use everything in your arsenal. Use all 30 hashtags. You will get more traction the more hashtags that you use in Instagram. Not the case in other media. If you're using Facebook, for example, use more than 4 hashtags, it starts to work against you. But in Instagram, use all 30 hashtags. But separate them. So don't, if your hashtag is about one particular subject matter, if your post is about one subject matter, don't just use hashtags that are very, very similar. Pull in some geographic hashtags, pull in some general artist, potter type hashtags, then pull in some very subject matter hashtags. Mix everything around so that you've maybe got between 5 and 7 groups of hashtags in that particular post. Probably several other things that I could add to that, but yeah.
I appreciate we putting you on the spot here. There's just one last question here. Now, this may be putting you on the spot because it might not be your expertise, but Babita's asked, any advice on the Instagram shopping feature? I was rejected for it, but don't know why and can't seem to appeal it.
Right.
That could put you on the spot. I don't know. So
it is putting me on the spot. There is a new feature, an Instagram shopping feature. I presume it's the same as the Facebook. The two are going to the same place, are they, Owen? Do you know that?
Yeah. Okay. But Babita's nodding, so keep going.
Yeah,
You're on the right line.
Yeah,
keep going.
Yeah. I think that Facebook own Instagram, so I imagine that they're using the same tool. It is another shop, yes. I think the thing is there are so many different platforms. You've got to choose the platforms that you're comfortable with. There are new platforms coming in all the time. Some of them will work, some won't work. What you've got to understand about the Instagram and Facebook ones is they are a third-party platform. If you're going to use a third-party platform, make sure that you've got your own first-party platform to start with, because if anything goes wrong, if anybody pulls the plug, a whole lot of revenue can disappear. So if you've got your own website, you've already got your own shop elsewhere, you're not reliant upon Facebook, you're not reliant upon Instagram, but you've learned how to do everything, then by all means replicate that somewhere else. Replicate it on Facebook shop, replicate it on Etsy, replicate it on Folksy. But start off with your own independent shop or 2 third-party shops that you're comfortable with, so that all your eggs are not in one basket. A lot of people got stung a few years back with Facebook. Facebook had tremendous growth initially. I've got customers that I've got 16. One customer's got 16,000 followers on Facebook. If he puts a post up, probably 100 people are seeing that post at the moment. Until a few years ago, most people were seeing it, and most things he put up there, he was getting sales from them. He was getting loads of interest, and then literally over a space of a few short weeks, Facebook had grown to the point they wanted to be, and then paid advertising started to kick in, and they changed the model considerably. And that made a very big difference to the way he used Facebook. At that point, then you need to start looking at advertising with them. But if you built something external with your own mailing list, with your own website, with your own shop on, if you create it could be a Shopify account or something like that, you're independent then. You don't have to pay people money in order to get traction into there. You can start building up your own customer base, not relying on a third party. So yes, I will be keeping my eye on Facebook shop, Instagram shop. As far as Instagram and Facebook are concerned, it's completely understandable why they've done this. At the end of the day, they as a business exist to make money. They make money by keeping people on the platform. They make money by people advertising with them. If they see one of your posts and you take them off to a shop on your website or take them off to Etsy, those people are leaving the platform. That's not in Etsy's interest. That's not in Instagram's interest. It's not in Facebook's interest. It's in your interest, but it's not in theirs. So that's the hole they are trying to plug. They are trying to create a shop where you don't have to leave their platform. You'll stay there, you'll buy the product, but then you're still there in their platform, ready to do more things on that platform, ready to have more things advertised at you. So yes, that's why they've done that. Yes, it's probably going to work for a lot of people. I'm just going to keep my eyes on that and see how it develops over the next few months, but I'm not rushing to jump on board with it just yet. I'd rather get independent things set up properly outside of the social media platform at the moment.
Perfect. Thank you, Paul. I'm just mindful that we've gone sort of 15-20 minutes over now, so I just want to say thank you, Paul, for taking your time to chat with people today, and thank you everybody who turned up. I hope that you've got something out of it, no matter how small or big. But thanks again to Paul for running the session today, and for you guys turning up, because obviously without you guys we'd be nothing. We're trying to build a community here, so if there's anything at all, you can always get in touch with me on Instagram. If there's sessions that you'd like to see, if there's things that you need help with, just drop me a quick message and we'll see what we can set up. Okay, so that's all from me now. Paul, I don't know if you wanted to say a few words just on summing up or anything. And
yeah, I'd just like to thank you, Owen, for bringing me on board with this. Hopefully this is something we can do more of, and I'll certainly be doing more of it on my own platform as well. I think it's new tools. I think lockdown's created a lot of changes over a very small period, and people have been forced onto things like this, but it's a great way to work. It really has put everybody on the same playing field, I think, and for small businesses this is really a positive time despite all the difficulties, and tools like this are really going to help everybody. So thanks for everybody for coming, and thanks for being gentle with us, and hope to see you all soon. If you want to see anything more about me, I'm Simple Art Marketing on Instagram. And you can find my website at www.instinctive.co.uk. Do give me a follow. There'll be lots more material like this in video form, hopefully, but there's already an awful lot of information. Some of your questions that you've raised, there's already a lot of material on there already about those kind of things. So do pop along and say hi, and do share everything that you've got. As Owen says, this is a community. You know, we're all trying to help each other here. I'm trying to help Lucy and Tabitha, and we're all sharing things. So you know, when you see posts, I'm not the oracle. I've just learned a lot from research, but I'm learning all the time, as I'm sure Owen is from you lot as well. So contribute and share ideas, and that really helps everybody. So thanks again.
Perfect.
Thank you, Owen.
Well, just one last thing before you all go. As I said, this is recorded, so might have to edit a few bits and pieces out, but we'll get it up on our YouTube. We'll send you another email just to let you know where you can find it. And there'll probably be some sort of review process, so we'd like you to just give us a bit of feedback. It's our first one. We appreciate there's probably things that we need to be doing a bit better, but you know, we appreciate everything, all the feedback you give us, so it's fantastic. Right, that's it for me. I'll shut up now because we've been going on for way too long, but thank you so much again. I hope you have a great day. I'm going to wrap this up now, so see you later.
All right, see you guys.